Hello. I am getting myself set up here. Just double checking that this is coming through live. If you're here, please say hello. Let me know. And if you're joining for the replay, drop a comment. Say that you're watching the replay. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you today. Hi, Elsa. Oh, yay. Well, Elsa, I need to talk to you, side note, about your jewelry. I feel like I can talk to you about that a lot. But I gave a pair as a gift to a friend, and she loves her earrings. I'm really happy you're here today. Okay. Thanks for saying hi. And I am on a little bit of a delay, probably because I'm going through Zoom. So if it takes me a minute to respond or see your questions, that is why. But I appreciate your time and your energy today. What's fun is, I've been working with this modality for a long time, and this is really like the first time I'm like coming out and talking about it. So I'm really excited to share with you today, and a little nervous because I am obsessed with this work and I want to make sure that I can do it justice. So I appreciate all of your grace in advance. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for being here. So for those of you that I may have not connected with yet, or we haven't met yet, my name is Beth Porter. I am the face behind Earth and Ether, which is my healing and my branding practice. So I work with two types of people. On one end, I help conscious entrepreneurs build and step into, through healing and branding, authentically aligned brands. And then I also work with soul purpose seekers in helping them to heal old traumas and wounding, limiting beliefs, shit that you're carrying that is maybe for your lineage, is maybe not even for you, so that you can really uncover your purpose and, live on purpose and live here with more alignment and happiness. So I'll dive right in, but please let me know if you have any questions. The modality that I'm here to share with you today is called EPT, and that stands for Emotional Polarity Technique. Let me close out my email here. And it's a beautiful trauma-informed modality that at this point in time isn't super well known, but it's been around for like 27 years. My intention today is really to just like bring it to your awareness, as it's been the most powerful thing that I've done for myself, and many of my clients will say the same. I'm also letting you know that I have 2 spaces open to work with me one-on-one in my private healing container, which I'll explain more about at the end. So like I was saying, EPT has been in my life for a long time. I've been a client receiving EPT for about 7 years now. I've been practicing for about 2 with private clients. And, there's just so much to say about it that I want to make sure that I really can, share the essence of EPT as best as possible. But, please feel free, like I said, ask questions. Let me know if you've received EPT, what your experience has been. Feel free to drop that in the comments. And I just really want this space, this group in general, but this space to be a place for dialogue and conversation around all types of healing and transformation. So specifically, in an EPT session, we release stuck emotional patterns. So emotional masses that are sitting in your body in different organs that have been unresolved, that have, typically when we have negative experiences, our system gets flooded with, hard emotions to work with, like grief or rage or anger or depression. And when we don't allow them to move through our system, when we don't acknowledge them, we stuff them down, they get trapped in our body. And they literally like make a physical blockage in your system. So if you think about our bodies, like, needing to be open and free. And actually, I think about yoga a lot because, you do all of your movements and poses and twists to open up the system and allow flow. So if we're carrying a bunch of negative, unprocessed emotions, our body has all these little our system has like kinks in it, or blockages of flow, which from a physiological standpoint and maybe spiritual standpoint, I think it's blocking the flow of divine love, of unconditional love, of life force energy, whatever you want to call it. And so the idea is to open up the space there. And the way we do that through EPT is connecting with your subconscious, connecting with your actual body, to see where these blockages are. And being able to release them and be able to sit in a space of total acceptance for who you are today is what allows that kind of system to stay in place, that openness to stay in place. And a lot of this work is really about reclaiming the parts of us that we have tried to separate from because of shame or pain or fear or what society has told us. And when parts of us are not connected to us, then we are not operating from a place of wholeness. We're not operating from a place of acceptance. There's a lot I want to say on that. So to get going, I'm going to talk a little bit about what EPT is not. And this might feel a little, how do I want to say this? I can't think of the right word, but this might not be in alignment with what the popular narratives are right now. But I'm just going to share, this is what EPT is not, to help you understand. So you might be familiar with the concept of mindset work, like understanding that you might have blocks, limiting beliefs. So, the intent with mindset work is to try and reframe those narratives, create a mantra or create a positive affirmation, and just from a conscious place, bring it into your life. So by saying it over and over again, by looking yourself in the mirror and saying it, by using Post-it notes. I have a billion Post-it notes with all the good words on it to remind you of who you are, who you're trying to step into. And I have a little bit of beef with this idea because, or just maybe the way that it's widely talked about, because it's really not, I feel like the way it's talked about isn't very nuanced. And I think it can be a little dangerous to your psyche to try and get yourself to believe something, and stay positive about something when your psyche doesn't actually believe it, when there's a deep part of you that can't believe it, that actually believes it's dangerous to believe that. And that keeps you in a mind fuck. And I've been there, trying to use all the affirmations in the world, and it doesn't always work. I think, and I'll talk about where I think it does work, and I'll talk about where I think it doesn't work. So for example, let's just say you're trying to lose weight. This is a super common issue, especially in our culture. Maybe you've been carrying weight for most of your life. Maybe you have a lot of beliefs that okay, I can't lose weight. And you hear that you need to think positive thoughts, and you need to look in the mirror and love and accept yourself, and, write out that new version of who you are. And you need to stop, beating yourself up and hating on yourself, which is true, Oh, hi, Cassie. Hi, Kinsa. Thanks for being here. But those positive thoughts alone really aren't going to cut it. And the positive thoughts alone really don't help you understand why your body might be carrying the weight, which in many cases is linked to unresolved trauma. The weight's typically there for some type of protection. Oh, Charles, you're here too. Hello. Good to see you. So I had this with my cystic acne. Those of you who've been following for a while, I had cystic acne on all around my chin for 17 years. It's literally half of my life. And I tried everything. And, from whatever, all the topical stuff, medicines, blah, 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 I went down this huge holistic route. And I also did law of attraction. I did a lot of things. I try to tackle it from all the angles, diet, all the things. And really there's no amount of positive thinking and I'm calling it applied self-love, where you just try to put self-love on like a salve, that could change my skin. It wasn't happening. And I also didn't know anyone else in my life that had this same problem. And I also kept it very secret. There was a lot wrapped up in this, clearly, because it was around for a long time. So I really had to get under it and get into the subconscious and help lift those firmly held rooted beliefs, and loosen them. And once I did that, once I was able to resolve a lot of internal rage, which makes a lot of sense, right? Like our livers carry rage and anger, and our livers also process toxins. And when you have skin issues, it's usually linked to the liver. So I was doing like all this, like, I'll call it like topical, like diet things to help my liver. I was drinking aloe vera juice. I was seeing an Ayurvedic practitioner, doing all the journal prompts, like all the shit. But I was actually carrying a lot of rage that wasn't even mine. Some of it was not even mine. And I mean, there's more to that story, but once I was able to release that and express it and create a new relationship to what anger means and what rage is, that's when my skin started to get better. And I actually worked with a skin coach to then layer on some of the mindset work afterward. And so it was like in tandem, doing EPT to remove all of the shit, eating well, building confidence and being able to believe. Like I had to it took so long for me to get to the space that I could even believe that my skin could clear up. Like I remember trying to put together a vision board and pulling images of women with like nice skin and being like feeling a deep rejection of that because I never thought it was possible for me because I spent so many years where it wasn't possible. Hi, Tao. Hi, Emma. Oh, it's good to see you. So I kind of, once I was able to move some of the deeply rooted things and, without going super into my story, I also had loyalties, connected to people in my family and people in my system that were, keeping me having this like unsolvable problem so that I could prove that I was, lovable, basically. So I kind of see the mindset work sort of as like, or all of this working together as like trying to push a car that's not starting. So like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like when a car isn't starting, you need to get it into neutral first, which is what emotional polarity technique does. It brings us into neutral. It opens up the space for things to flow and then get it moving. And then you can jump in and roll. And so once we get it pushing, then you can layer on the applied love and build the confidence and allow this mindset work to really like add on to the positive affirmations, add on to what you've already done. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. And also if you have questions. And again, I'm on a little bit of a lag, so I'll keep like looking back. So before I go further, like just to be clear, hi Amanda. I don't disagree with mindset work. I just don't think it works when there's something else driving the subconscious beliefs that really need resolution. And I also think that, I take the position that our issues, our problems, the things that are causing us pain in our current life, like my cystic acne was, like maybe weight or, relational issues, whatever it is, those are here to get your attention, to heal something that's like deep within you. It's really beautiful. So I'll walk into, I'm seeing that Cassie's saying, learning about the loyalties was the most interesting part of my EPT healing. The loyalties are super powerful. And I'll probably do like a side chat about loyalties at some point because I'm really passionate about liberating those and also identifying them in our work together. Because loyalties are basically just goes back to our primal ways of being, that if we aren't loyal to our tribe, to our community, to our family, maybe it's not even like as a woman, maybe if I'm not loyal to all the women in the world, then I will be rejected and could potentially die, like be out on my own. Charles, I think of it like watering a flower covered by an umbrella. Yes. Yes, EPT totally helps ditch the umbrella. So the water, my notes are moving, or the comments are moving. Ditch the umbrella so the water and sunlight can bring the growth that wants to happen. Oh, this is like a really beautiful way to even think about. I've been learning a lot about masculine and feminine energies, and that also links to that for me too. I love that. And Lauren, the most mind-blowing thing to me about EPT is how deep it is, mostly from birth and when you're an infant and you have no idea what you're picking up from the others. Yeah, it really hits the subconscious on such a deep level. Totally. And oftentimes too, I think with my skin journey, I remember one of my sessions was like something that my mom was dealing with when she was 15 that's unresolved in her, that was through epigenetics passed down to me. And yeah, like oftentimes when you have skin issues, you might have an issue with like touching your skin or picking at your skin. And I think I was like going into that and realizing that like me picking my skin was actually a way to make me feel in control and safe for my mother when she didn't feel in control and safe when she was 15. So yeah, mindset work's not going to touch that shit. Um, Oh, Cassie, I had a discovery in utero that made so much clarity to me for my entire life. Yes. Yes. Which I'm going to go into this, but like once you understand the why, our logical mind really loves understanding it and helps to really helps to imprint, the ability to shift and move. We are spiritual beings and energetic beings, and we're also humans that have logical minds. And what I love so much about EPT is that it brings together the right and left brain and allows your whole mind integration, whole body integration. I haven't even gotten into trauma, but we'll be talking about in a second. Uh, yeah, Amanda's saying the one that was wild to me was my daughter's depression about being born so early. Because yeah, Amanda had a premature baby and was holding on to her daughter Penny's depression. Which depression is the energy of being like stuck in something. And so when you're stuck in something, you're probably holding on to depression. Okay, specifically in a session, here's what happens. So I'm just going to break it down. We tune into your body to see where the root of the energetic pattern is. So where that like emotional blockage is located specifically. I do this through muscle testing. So I'm not going to talk about muscle testing today, but that is something you could look up if you want to, or if you have questions, I can go into it more another time. Then from there, once we figure out where it is, we discover what the story is there. So we uncover that together. We release the pattern from your body. So I ask your body what needs to be shifted. How does that place in your body that's holding onto this, negative emotional mass need to be supported in order to open up space? So then we open up space together, basically pulling it out. And then we resolve the root of the issue by really honoring it. And what that looks like is looking at the truth of the situation, the underlying beliefs that you're carrying about it. And then we work with forgiveness, forgiving yourself for believing you had to be this way or believing that you had to hold on to these emotions for somebody else or yourself, in order to be safe or connected or loved, which is actually what's creating disconnection and lack of safety and lack of unconditional love. So basically believing ourselves for holding onto a story that isn't true and doesn't have to be true anymore. Maybe it was true and maybe it's no longer true. Forgiving those who have hurt you, forgiving those that you have hurt, sometimes forgiving those like your parents who couldn't be there in the way that you needed them to be there. All of these like in utero shit that comes up when I'm like testing, it's like, okay, this is second trimester. Why are you holding on to mom's depression with dad? What was going on then? And, sometimes we don't know the specifics, but we get into the energetics and we allow that infant, that in utero baby to release the narrative that it is your responsibility to hold on to that depression and maybe your responsibility to fix their relationship or to be entangled in the dynamics of their relationship in some way or another. Or like if for me, I always bring this up because it's like a light, funny, easy thing to talk about. But I had a lot of freckles as a kid, and I had a girl that made fun of how many freckles I had or whatever. And I could forgive my mom and dad for not being there for me when I'm like 6 or 7 or 8, and can't. It's not in my faculty. My brain isn't developed. We're imprinting the world as truth when it comes in, when you see it, and it's not going to occur to a 6, 7, 8-year-old to go to mom and dad and say, guess what happened to me today? This was really painful. So sometimes we need to forgive those that are here to help guide us and love us and give us the unconditional love for not doing that, even when they didn't mean to. I'm kind of going off track here because I'm getting all like wound up about that. But I'm seeing a comment here. Let's see. Lauren's saying, yes, Cassie, I had something very recently that was because my mom once didn't hear me crying when I was 1 year old. Yeah. And my dad's actions while my mom was in labor. So wild. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of these. Um, so yeah, basically, through the forgiveness, it all depends on the specific story. And I guide you through the release of all of that. I guide you through how you will create forgiveness and hold the space and help walk you through honoring it. And sometimes that looks really um, vulnerable. I'm just, this isn't like, doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it looks really vulnerable. And sometimes it looks like holding yourself and me holding you in the energy of love while you're looking at shame and maybe something that you've done that's like you feel terrible about, that needs to be resolved because we need grace, we need compassion, we need mercy for ourselves. But also, once we can do that with ourselves, we can operate from that place more often with other people. And I really believe that's what creates all the change in the world, but that's a whole other thing for another day. So we also look at if there's trauma. So I've mentioned this a couple of times. This is a trauma-informed healing modality. I highly, highly, highly recommend working with trauma, people who understand trauma, and not doing that on your own. And I'll talk about trauma more specifically in another day, because I could talk a lot about it. But one of the big reasons why trauma is stored in our system, we code something as traumatic, is because we were alone in some way or another. We were physically alone, actually alone, or emotionally alone. We felt alone. And trauma isn't, I posted about the wisdom of trauma, that film. And, I really love Dr. Gabor Mate's work. Like it's deeply informed how I work with trauma in the EPT practice. And the woman, Dr. Annette, who's developed EPT, it's informed her work. It's just amazing. But one thing he says is, trauma isn't what happened to you. It's what happened inside of you when that happened to you. And so we can have trauma by seeing a car accident that we don't even know the people, like that we can be holding trauma. So whether it's big trauma, little trauma, I'm not going to go into that. And frankly, doesn't matter. We just walk through it in different ways. But, we look at, and I wanted to say too, that about 90% of my sessions, I see trauma. There's usually some type of trauma component. So we address that trauma specifically. So we look at, is it phase 1? Is it phase 2? How do we want to support the brain and the body, the nervous system, in order to create this healing? So if you're walking into something that might be trauma, I highly recommend working with someone and not listening to a guided meditation or something like that without the other person holding the space for you. Because you can just re-trigger trauma. You can and I've had clients come to me say, oh yeah, like I worked with somebody that didn't understand how to work with trauma, and it really fucked me up. So be careful. But once we resolve the overall conflict, being trauma informed and taking care of the system, we introduce a new place for your psyche to move to. We've opened up the space of those old limiting beliefs, the narratives. We've created forgiveness. We've allowed resolution. We've let go of the anger towards your dad, towards yourself, whatever it is, towards your boyfriend. We then have the space. Like if you don't create the new narrative, then your brain is going to go back to what's familiar. And so we want to easily walk it over, gently and easily walk it over to the new narrative. And we create that based on, where you're headed in your life, what you want in your life, what you're desiring, who you want to be. Sometimes that's I just want to feel happy. So I love and accept myself. Like without this pattern, I love and accept myself, believing I can be happy. I give myself permission to be free, to be happy. I let go of needing this trauma, needing this experience of depression and anxiety and heaviness to remind me of my truth when I was 3, when I had to hold on to those things, when that was the only way my psyche knew how to process the world. I love and accept letting that stuff go so that I can move into this new version of me. And with that, we're just really allowing the love, unconditional love and life to just flow through you. And that's how transformation happens, from the root, from the source of the wound, from seeing the pain and the shame and holding it. I'm realizing I can't see my hands. In love. And like I said earlier, that can be really scary and vulnerable. It can look like crying. It can look like a lot of my clients have other releases like burping and a lot of yawning, just like letting this stuff release from your body. I cry a lot in my sessions, even though I don't like crying. But I'm a crier, and tears are just release and detoxification. But look, that's why I'm here, to guide you and to hold the space for you, from a place of just neutrality and non-judgment and unconditional love. I also think this process is just really cool. So I feel like a detective getting in there and figuring out why is this happening? Why is it really hard for you to speak up in your meetings at work? Why did that thing that happened to you make you feel paralyzed and not be able to move forward? Why are you stuck in your business? Why can't you show up? I mean, I get this shit done on me all the time so that I can show up and talk to you about this now. It really works. I love it. Like I said, about the logical part, this is my new favorite phrase right now, so I'm just going to use it, but it's really just not relying just on faith, trust, and pixie dust. It's like, you actually see the puzzle coming together and being like, oh, that's why I believe this shit. And now I can let it go because I understand why. And my brain feels safe adding going to a new story because that has actually been resolved. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And so anyway, once we've created the new pathway, you leave a session getting to, not that like things aren't, not that your life turns into, again, whatever, like a fairyland, though fairies are really cool. You just, when things happen to you or when you are engaging in the world, living as humans, as we do, you get to choose how to respond to life differently with more ease. So those ingrained patterns in you that just like are naturally firing and wiring, as we know, 90% of the time, we're running off our subconscious system. You get to be more conscious and choose how you want to feel. Lauren, I hope your EPT straight up makes life a fairyland. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much, if I'm just using my cystic acne example, I barely have any makeup on. I hardly think, about the skin issues. And I never, ever thought I would be free from that. And not only that, there's like a whole other thing. I wouldn't have even be showing my shoulders. I wouldn't wear shorts. Like I was like wanted to be hidden. I was so afraid of being seen. And all of that has shifted. So anyway, if you're feeling stuck or struggling in some area in your life or your business, and you know that there's something under there that you can't quite tackle, I would love, love, love to hold space for you and just guide you through your healing. So I work with people one-on-one, and I'm going to tell you about my healing container, but I also have single sessions if you just want to try it out. And I'll drop links in here in just a moment. But my healing container is 3 months of dedicated transformation. We begin the container with a grounding ceremony to really set the intention, the tone of what you're here to shift together. What version of yourself you're stepping into. And I'm here holding the vision for you, with you, for you during this time. I love to see the whole picture of you, and I love to share that with you. Again, connecting with that the conscious and logical part of you. So we look at your human design. I share that with you. Look at your North Node to really understand what your natural energy is, what you've come here, what your blueprint is, as well as your what your soul is headed for, what your soul is here to do. That's what the North Node shows us. and I'm obsessed. So I share those with you. And then I use that to kind of guide and coach, helping you continuing to connect to this vision of yourself as we move through all the shit. So that's the thing is I pair that with doing EPT sessions, healing sessions, to really release the trauma, the limiting beliefs, the false narratives that are really running your subconscious. That's really keeping you from being your next version you, or your higher self, which in my opinion is really just your authentic self. And yeah, I also give you homework if needed, tools and practices to make your own. I am a self-development freak, so I've got a lot of resources that I love to share, but really based on what you need. So it's very tailored, it's very specific to you and what's coming up in your sessions. And you also receive a welcome kit in the mail, like actual mail. I love mail. So I send you a set of magnets, which we use in our sessions, and I teach you how you can implement those in your life outside of sessions, if you'd like, and as needed, how to work with them. And at the end, we hold a closing ceremony to really acknowledge and seal all the shifts that have occurred. And it's just really wild to watch, like, oh my gosh, this thing used to give me so much anxiety and I totally forgot about it. And I think it's really important for us as, a lot of people I work with are high achievers and, people like myself who like are here we want to live on purpose. We're not floating around, we're conscious. We want life to have meaning and we want the world to benefit from our existence here. And oftentimes I find that we can just like keep moving forward without acknowledging, without, just brushing past where we've come. So if you're feeling called to a greater level of yourself and want to experience more freedom and agency in your life, I'd love to chat with you. So let's just see what, working together could look like. Like I said, I have 2 spaces open right now. I don't work with a lot of people privately at one time, just due to the amount of energy and this high exchange that we have. And, like I said, I'm here to hold you in care and to help you, help witness you and help guide you through the other side. So I'll drop the link in here. Otherwise, feel free to shoot me a DM. And I'm going to check here for any questions, but definitely reach out if you have any. Let me just see what we have here. And I also just appreciate you being here. I can't see who's here, so I always feel a little bit funny just sort of talking into the void. So I appreciate you all sharing your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Let's see, Cassie. Wait. Okay. Oh, Cassie saying to Lauren, currently remaking my loaf. Okay, we're talking about bread. And Lauren's beautiful energies. Yes. Okay, Cassie, I just finished my container with Beth, and it's hard for me to even put into words the profound impact it's had on my life. It's insanely effective, and Beth holds the most gentle and compassionate space. Thank you, Cassie. It's, yeah, working with Cassie. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful human. Oh, I want to go into that right now, but I'm not going to. Okay, so Lauren, magnets are life. Yes, Lauren uses the magnets daily. Melissa, oh, hi. Amazing release through this experience with Beth and you understanding for sure. Very powerful. Thank you. And Amanda, when I came to Beth, I couldn't imagine any true purpose in my life. Now, a year later, the sea has parted. Amanda has gone from so many things, but yeah, Amanda has started her own business and really opened up to her own intuitive gifts and is now offering really beautiful things to the world. And yeah, Amanda will be coming in here soon in July. We're going to talk about Amanda's work, but yeah, to watch your growth, Amanda, has been just really, really an honor and really beautiful. Thank you, Lauren. Most high touch container I've experienced. Yeah, I like to keep it. It's just the way I like to work. I'm here for it. So I am so honored that you spent your time with me today, and I'll drop the links, like I said, but if you have questions, let me know. And otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.